Chapter 711 Yi Xiao, I don't want to learn the way of talismans. Fuck. This hard work fee is wrong. Why did Yi Xiao give too much? When Chu Kuan checked that the number of cold marrow jade gold pills and cold marrow jade gold dew in the divine ring was 5 times his hard work fee, he was stunned. Wait a minute. The hard work fee given by Yi Xiao was exactly 5 portions. Does that mean that the other 4 portions were prepared for these bastards? In other words, I got beaten 3 times for nothing? After realizing this, Chu Kuan went crazy and shouted in a broken heart, Master Yi, if you have prepared hard work pay for them, then tell me. I got beaten so unfairly. Master Yi. Where are we going next? Are we going to the bloody desert? After flying for a while, Feitian Pig also asked with expectation. You know, Yifeng gave it another 1 million Shantian arrow drop talismans yesterday. It can be said that even if it consumes it crazily, it can't be used up in a short time. Why? Want to go for a ride in the bloody desert? Hearing Feitian Pig's words, Yifeng also asked jokingly. Mr. Yi. You are a spendthrift, so as your mount, I must keep up with you. Besides, you gave me 1 million Shantian arrow drop talismans yesterday. If I don't work hard, when will I be able to spend all these broken talismans? Hearing Yifeng's words, Feitian Pig also responded with a smile. Okay. Then let's walk through the bloody desert again. After saying that, Yifeng suddenly thought of something, and then asked, Flying Pig, if we don't use the designated space portal, how long will it take to get back to Xinghuan Mountain? Young Master Yi. If I rush at full speed, it will take about 3 days, and I have to rush at night. Hearing Yifeng's question, Flying Pig thought about it, and then gave an approximate time. No need to rush at full speed. Let's play while walking, anyway, there's nothing to do when we go back. After knowing this situation, Yifeng gave an order to Flying Pig. 2 hours later. Fuck. That fierce pig is here again. Tell the brothers to hide as far as possible and never show your head, otherwise you will die without knowing how. When Yifeng and Feitian Juju walked into the bloody desert again, countless beasts fled frantically towards the depths of the ground, fearing that they would die under the guns of the gun war pigs. What's going on? Why didn't we encounter any beasts? Feitian Juju, who had put on the gun armor and transformed into a gun war pig, found that he hadn't seen any beasts for a long time, and he also muttered to himself with a puzzled look. What else could it be? They must have been scared and hid. Can this be called a forbidden place of death? Hearing Feitian Juju's words, Yifeng on the side also complained with disdain. Disciple. This is the bloody desert. Those who have never been there will never know how terrifying the beasts there are. At this time an old man looked at the bloody desert in front of him, and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. Then he looked at the young man beside him and said, Master. Then did the people who entered the bloody desert really not come out alive? After hearing this, the young man asked curiously. No. Although entering the bloody desert is a life-or-death struggle, the truth is that it is impossible for anyone to come out alive. Even if it is a peak powerhouse of the 9th level of the divine tribulation realm. Hearing the young man's question, the old man also said seriously. Wait a minute. Master, do you see anyone over there? At this time, the young man seemed to have discovered something, and he pointed forward with wide eyes and exclaimed. Soon. Yifeng rode the flying pig out of the bloody desert. This little brother. Didn't you encounter those ferocious beasts in there? You just rode this pig? Seeing that Yifeng was about to leave, the old man asked hurriedly. No. I didn't see a single ferocious beast. But don't say I didn't remind you, we can come out safely, but if you go in, that's not necessarily the case. Hearing the old man's question, Yifeng also responded casually, and did not forget to remind the other party before leaving. Master. Why don't we go in and take a look? He is a weak chicken in the 9th level of the true god realm, and he is fine. What else can we do? However, when Yifeng left on the flying pig, the young man looked at the old man and expressed his thoughts. Pung! With a muffled sound, the young man was kicked to the ground by the old man. Then the old man looked at the young man lying on the ground and cursed, "Fuck you, if you want to die, don't drag me with you, I haven't lived enough." As the sky darkened, the man and the pig also arrived in a prosperous town. Young Master Yi. This is Shangtian City. It is said that Master Bafeng lives in this town. However, no one has seen Master Bafeng, so the truth of this news has never been confirmed. Walking on the busy streets, Feitian Zhuzhu also told what he knew. Master Bafeng? What does he do? Is he famous? After hearing this, Yifeng also asked curiously. Huh? Young Master Yi didn't even know Master Bafeng? Hearing Yifeng's words, Feitian Pig was also stunned, and then hurriedly explained, Young Master Yi, Master Bafeng is one of the 5 top talisman masters in the god realm. He is definitely the top in the way of talismans. Yes. One of the 5 top talisman masters in the god realm? Then it's just right for Feitian Pig to learn the way of talismans from him. Thinking of this, Yifeng also smiled, and then looked at the Feitian Pig in his arms and said, Feitian Pig, I let him guide you to learn the way of talismans, how do you feel? What? Let me learn the way of talismans? Hearing this, Feitian Zhuzhu's eyes also flashed with a trace of panic, and then he hurriedly said, Young Master Yi, I am naturally disgusted by the complicated runes on the talisman. Let alone learning, just looking at it makes me irritable. If you really let me learn the way of talismans, you might as well kill me directly. What? You are very excited, and looking forward to hearing this news? Then what are we waiting for? Hurry up and find that Master Bafeng. After hearing Feitian Zhuzhu's words, Yifeng spoke to himself. When did I get excited, and looking forward to it? I don't want to learn the way of talismans, aren't you forcing the pig to death? Chapter 7:12 Let me guide a pig to learn the way of talismans. System. Use the spy function once to check if Master Bafeng is in Shangtian City. If so, where is he exactly? Yifeng ignored Feitian Pig and gave the system an order in his mind. Ding. Consume the spy function once. Bafeng is indeed in Shangtian City. His current location is near Tianyu Restaurant. As Yifeng finished speaking, the system's voice rang out in his mind, and a small map that only he could see appeared in front of him. He's not here. That damn Master Bafeng, please don't be in Shangtian City. If he wasn't here, maybe I could have escaped this disaster. At this time, Feitian Pig also prayed secretly. Feitian Pig. Should I say it or not, your luck is really good. That Master Bafeng is really in Shangtian City, let's go find him now. However, after hearing what Yifeng said, Feitian Pig's last hope was completely shattered, and there was a hint of despair in his eyes. A moment later. What's the situation? According to the small map, this guy should be Bafeng. But why does a talisman master want to be a beggar here? When he came to the front of Tianyu Restaurant, looking at the middle-aged man with shabby clothes and messy hair under the eaves, Yifeng also showed a hint of doubt. No way. This stinky beggar, could it be Master Bafeng? Learning the way of talismans has already made me collapse. If I learn from such a sloppy person, I will go completely crazy. Feitian Pig, lying in Yifeng's arms, noticed that Yifeng's eyes fell directly on the beggar, and his face also showed a hint of uneasiness. Master Bafeng. Would you like to go to the restaurant and have a couple of drinks? Walking in front of Bafeng, Yifeng directly pointed out the other party's identity. Hearing this, Bafeng, who had his eyes tightly closed, suddenly opened his eyes. He first looked at Yifeng, and then said, "Young master, I'm afraid you have recognized the wrong person. I am not Master Ba Feng, but a hungry beggar." "Really? Then from now on, if you learn a sentence from me, I will give you 10,000 pieces of top-grade divine stones. How about it?" After hearing this, Yi Feng revealed a sly smile, and then directly expressed his thoughts. "No need. Learn a sentence, and give me a low-grade divine stone." Although he didn't know whether what Yi Feng said was true or false, in order to prevent the other party from affecting his state of mind, Ba Feng directly turned 10,000 pieces of top-grade divine stones into a low-grade divine stone. Snap! Hearing what Ba Feng said, Yi Feng directly placed 100 low-grade divine stones in front of Ba Feng, and then said, "Learn the first sentence first. Master Ba Feng, one of the 5 top talisman masters in the God realm, is a big fool." Stare. Hearing what Yi Feng said, Ba Feng's eyes almost popped out of his head. He never thought that the young man in front of him would be so unethical. Huh. After taking a deep breath, Ba Feng also said calmly, "Master Ba Feng, one of the 5 top talisman masters in the God realm, is a big fool." "You actually learned it. Then I want to see which sentence you can learn." After hearing Ba Feng repeat his words, Yi Feng continued, "The second sentence, Master Ba Feng, one of the 5 top talisman masters in the God realm, is a hypocrite." Huh. That's it? Is this kid underestimating me too much? After hearing Yi Feng's second sentence, Ba Feng also sneered, and then repeated it directly. The third sentence. Master Ba Feng, one of the 5 top talisman masters in the God realm, is as fast as thunder and as thin as a needle. Seeing that Ba Feng didn't care about these at all, Yi Feng also said something fierce. 1 minute. 2 minutes. When 3 minutes passed, Ba Feng looked at Yi Feng with a dark face and said, let's go in and have a couple of drinks. In the restaurant, in the guest room." "My friend. How do you know I am Ba Feng?" After Ba Feng drank the wine in the glass, he looked at Yi Feng with curiosity and asked, "Master Ba Feng, it's not important how we know your identity. What's important is why you are a beggar here." Yi Feng did not answer Ba Feng's question, but asked his own doubts. "I am so lonely. I have become the first person in the way of talismans. This makes me lose the motivation to continue to become stronger. Instead of drinking every day, it's better to find a place and become a beggar to temper your state of mind." Seeing that Yi Feng did not answer his question, Ba Feng stopped asking and also explained why he became a beggar here. "Huh? Nothing to do. I'm so bored. I'm so bored that I become a beggar to temper my state of mind." Then he is so idle, can't he just teach the flying pig to learn the way of talismans? After hearing Ba Feng's explanation, Yi Feng's eyes lit up, and then he put the flying pig in his arms on the table, looked directly at Ba Feng opposite and said, "Master Ba Feng, you are idle anyway, and my pet pig also wants to learn the way of talismans, otherwise, you can help teach it? Let me teach a pig to learn the way of talismans? Are you crazy, or are you crazy? I, Ba Feng, have never accepted a disciple in my life. If I really wanted to accept a disciple, I don't know how many people would cry and shout to worship me as their master. In the end, you want a pig to become my first disciple?" After hearing Yi Feng's idea, Ba Feng couldn't believe his ears for a moment. "Wait a minute. What's the expression on this pig's face? I, the number one in the way of talismans, guide you to learn the way of talismans, and you are still unwilling?" At this moment, when Ba Feng noticed that the flying pig on the table was looking at him with a disgusted look, he was stunned. "My friend. If you are looking for me for this matter, I am really sorry, I will not agree." After recovering from his shock, Ba Feng looked at Yi Feng and told him his decision. "Really? In that case, forget it." After saying that, Yi Feng picked up the flying pig on the table and left the guest room. However, when he walked out of the room, he deliberately threw a Shantian arrow talisman on the ground. Flying pig. Believe it or not, Master Ba Feng will chase you out and beg you to learn the way of talismans. After knowing Ba Feng's character, Yi Feng dared to guarantee that the other party would be scared after seeing the Shantian arrow talisman created by the system, and at the same time, he would have the motivation to continue to become stronger, because he couldn't make that talisman at all. Chapter 7:13 Let me be the bait to lure out the fierce beast in the bloody desert? Didn't the negotiation break down? Why would Master Ba Feng come out to beg us? The flying pig, who was secretly delighted, was stunned when he heard this. On the other side. Interesting. Really interesting. That kid even deliberately dropped a talisman before leaving. Could it be that he thought that with this talisman, he could change my decision? Seeing the Shantian arrow talisman that Yi Feng dropped at the door, Ba Feng also sneered, but driven by curiosity, he still walked over and picked up the talisman. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could an ordinary talisman contain 999 terrifying arrows, condensed by divine power? Moreover, the power of each arrow is equivalent to the full force of a Shintoist who has reached the peak of the 9th level of the divine tribulation realm. When Ba Feng released his divine sense to investigate the internal situation of the talisman, his eyes almost popped out of his head in shock, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. You know, even if he used the top-grade materials for making talismans, he could only integrate 2 powers of this level into one talisman. It is no exaggeration to say that even if he tried his best throughout his life, he would not be able to make such a terrifying talisman. Ha ha ha. After being shocked, Ba Feng suddenly laughed up to the sky, and then said to himself with excitement, I didn't expect that there would be such a terrifying talisman master in the world. I underestimated this world. However, the stronger the opponent is, the more excited I am. Now I finally have the motivation to continue to become stronger. First floor lobby. This young master. I want to meet the talisman master who made this talisman. As long as you can let me meet him, I will agree to what you said before. Coming to Yi Feng's table, Ba Feng didn't say any more nonsense and directly stated his thoughts. Still putting forward conditions to me? Don't you know that the initiative is already in my hands? Hearing Ba Feng's words, Yi Feng also looked at him with a look of looking at a big fool, and then said directly, Master Ba Feng, since this matter still makes you so reluctant, forget it. After all, it's hard to find a pig with 5 legs, but it's easy to find a 2-legged talisman master. Huh? Is it hard to find a pig with 5 legs? Hearing Yi Feng's words, Feitian Pig couldn't help but look at his pig brother. Wait a minute. I can teach it to learn the way of talismans, without any conditions. Seeing Yi Feng holding Feitian Pig and preparing to leave, Ba Feng also said anxiously. You said you don't want to guide me, so I won't. You said you want to guide me, so I will guide you. What do you think of my pet pig? Doesn't it have any dignity? If you want to guide it to learn the way of talismans, just stay by my side and be a housekeeper. If you perform well, maybe I will give you this opportunity. After hearing what Ba Feng said, Yi Feng calmly put forward the conditions. Just now you were begging me. What a waste of time. Hearing Yi Feng's words, Ba Feng also revealed a bitter smile, but in order to meet the mysterious talisman master, he nodded and agreed to Yi Feng's request. A moment later. Young Master Yi. You'd better keep this talisman. After all, the power it contains is enough to threaten any overlord-level force. When Yi Feng and Feitian Juju had enough wine and food, Ba Feng, who was standing aside, also handed the Shantian arrow falling talisman to Yi Feng. Oh. After hearing this, Yi Feng took the talisman and wiped the oil on his mouth, then clenched the talisman into a ball and threw it on the ground. And this scene made Ba Feng dumbfounded. Young Master Yi. What are you doing? Soon, Ba Feng looked at Yi Feng with a puzzled look and asked. What's wrong? Is it uncivilized for me to throw it on the ground? After hearing what Ba Feng said, Yi Feng pretended to be puzzled and asked. What the hell is uncivilized? Is it uncivilized to throw it on the ground? That was a terrifying talisman that could deter the overlord-level forces, and in the end, you wiped your mouth and threw it away? After hearing what Yi Feng said, Ba Feng didn't know how to respond for a moment. Master Yi. This is a talisman that can. Just when Ba Feng was about to persuade him, Yi Feng suddenly interrupted and said, Manager Ba, if you want it, then pick it up and keep it. Okay, I'm going upstairs to rest first. Is there such a good thing? Looking at Yi Feng, who was leaving, Ba Feng also showed a touch of surprise. After he picked up the talisman on the ground, he also said to himself thoughtfully, this Master Yi is not a prodigal son, otherwise, who can do such a thing? In the guest room. Master Yi. I want to take Master Ba Feng to the Bloody Desert for a tour. After returning to the guest room, Feitian Zhuzhu looked at Yi Feng and told him an idea. Oh. You want him to be a bait to lure out the beasts in the Bloody Desert, and then you can have a good fight? Hearing this, Yi Feng guessed Feitian Zhuzhu's little idea, and then took out 2 designated space portals and said, Go ahead, I'm still very happy that you are so concerned about this aspect of squandering money. Huh? Brother Zhu, what are you doing here? When Ba Feng walked upstairs and saw Feitian Zhuzhu lying on the stairs, he also asked with a puzzled look on his face. Butler Ba. I want to go somewhere to play. Young master, Yi asked you to go with me. Hearing Ba Feng's question, Feitian Zhuzhu also stood up and answered. Since it is Master Ye's order, then as the housekeeper, I must obey unconditionally. But where do you want to go? After hearing this, Ba Feng also asked with curiosity. You will know when you go there. After responding casually, Feitian Zhuzhu directly activated a designated space portal. A moment later. What's going on? Isn't this the Bloody Desert? The place where Brother Zhu wants to go to play, can it be the Bloody Desert? When Ba Feng walked out of the space portal and looked at the Bloody Desert in front of him, he was stunned. Ba Feng. After we enter the Bloody Desert, your task is to lure out the beasts inside. As long as those beasts dare to show up, the rest can be left to me. At this time, Feitian Zhuzhu's voice also sounded from the side. Let me lure out the beasts inside? Isn't this just asking me to die? Hearing Feitian Zhuzhu's words, Ba Feng couldn't believe his ears for a moment. He could bear to be a housekeeper, but he couldn't do it if he was asked to die. Brother Zhu. Even if you want to play, you can't play here. You know, this is the Bloody Desert, known as the Forbidden Land of Death. Once you go in, you will die. Peng. Before Ba Feng finished speaking, Feitian Zhuzhu knocked him unconscious with a pig's hoof scissors hand, and then muttered to himself, just a bait, why are you talking so much nonsense? Chapter 7:14 Master Zhu, do you mind having 2 baits? I have the bait. But how do I send him in? If I'm exposed in advance, I won't be able to lure out those beasts. Looking at the knocked out Ba Feng, Feitian Zhuzhu was also in trouble. On the other side. Why? Why on earth? That little weakling can ride a pig and walk out of the Bloody Desert safely, why can't I? At this time, Lu Xiaohe also showed an unwilling look and came to the edge of the Bloody Desert again. If Yi Feng was here, he would definitely find that this young man was the disciple of the old man he met before. Hey! Isn't that the pig we met before? What is it doing here? Noticing the flying pig in the distance, Lu Xiaohe also showed a hint of doubt. Boom! Just when Lu Xiaohe was wondering why the other party appeared here, a suffocating and terrifying pressure instantly enveloped him. Damn! I finally know why that little weakling can walk out of the Bloody Desert alive. Because that little weakling is indeed a little weakling, but this pig is not an ordinary pig. Feeling the suffocating and terrifying pressure, Lu Xiaohe was almost scared to pee. A moment later. Boy. I will shrink my body and hide in this person's arms. What you need to do is to use the power in your body to throw him into the bloody desert. It's best to fly as far as you can. Looking at the panicked Lu Xiaohe in front of him, Feitian Pig also gave him an order. Master Pig, why do you do this? Hearing Feitian Pig's strange order, Lu Xiaohe also asked, tentatively. Because I killed through the bloody desert before. As long as I go in, those beasts dare not show up at all. So, I want him to be a bait to lure out those beasts, and then I will continue to kill people everywhere. Hearing Lu Xiaohe's question, Feitian Pig also explained with a proud face. Hearing this, Lu Xiaohe suddenly pondered, and then a touch of madness appeared in his eyes. Master Pig. Then do you mind having 2 baits? After making a decision, Lu Xiaohe looked at Feitian Pig and asked. Although what I said is true, let alone a human, even a dog would not believe it. But you believed it? And you even offered to be the bait? Looking at the crazy Lu Xiaohe, Feitian Pig was stunned at first, then grinned and said, Of course I don't mind, but we have to tie this guy up first, so that he won't wake up and ruin my business. After a moment. Fuck. This pig has no martial ethics. It actually attacked from behind. After waking up from a coma, Ba Feng started to complain wildly in his heart. Fuck. He really came in. Boy, who the hell are you? Let me down. However, when Ba Feng noticed that he was tied up and then carried on the shoulders of a young man and ran wildly in the bloody desert, his expression changed drastically and he exclaimed, his eyes were filled with endless fear. Butler Ba. Can you be quiet for a while? I've said that you will definitely not be in any danger with me here, so what are you afraid of? At this time, the flying pig hiding in Ba Feng's arms also said with disdain. Brother Pig. This is the bloody desert. How can I not be afraid? Before Ba Feng finished speaking, Lu Xiaohe, who was running wildly, noticed that there were dense beasts around him, and then shouted excitedly, Master Pig, the beasts are almost out, it's your turn to appear. Pung. Hearing Lu Xiaohe's words, Feitian Pig jumped out of Ba Feng's arms, and then his body gradually grew larger in the air, and he even took out the gun armor and put it on. Fuck. This pig suddenly became so damn handsome. When Ba Feng and Lu Xiaohe saw the flying pig transformed into a gun war pig, they all exclaimed with their eyes wide open. Bang, bang, bang. Then, when they saw the 8 Gatling guns on the gun war pig began to fire wildly, and countless beasts around were annihilated by white arrows, they were so shocked that they couldn't speak. A few minutes later. Too few beasts were attracted. After firing wildly for a circle, only 16 talismans were consumed. When will it be possible to consume 1 million talismans? When the flying pig slaughtered all the beasts that appeared, it also said this with disappointment. Talisman? Wait a minute. No wonder I felt that the breath of those white arrows was familiar. It turned out that the power of the terrifying talisman was released from those strange weapons. But what did it mean by 1 million just now? Such a terrifying talisman, does it have 1 million in its hand? Hiss. Thinking of this, Ba Feng couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. He finally understood why Yi Feng used the talisman to wipe his mouth. It turned out that he was so willful. Xiaohe. Carry this guy, let's kill him in another place. At this time, the flying pig, who hadn't killed enough, looked at Lu Xiaohe and gave another order. Early morning. After 2 people and 1 pig had been shooting in the bloody desert all night, they finally walked out of the bloody desert in the early morning. Xiaohe. I can't let you help me for nothing this night, these 100 talismans are just for your hard work. By the way, this talisman is very powerful, each talisman contains 999 arrows, each arrow is enough to kill a peak 9-layer God Tribulation Realm strongman, don't use it until the critical moment. Fei Tian Pig, who has learned the true teachings of Yi Feng, also handed over 100 Shantian arrow-falling talismans to Lu Xiaohe with great generosity, and also briefly explained the situation of the talisman. Master Pig. Have a nice day. Looking at the 100 talismans in his hand, Lu Xiaohe excitedly shouted to Fei Tian Pig, who was about to step into the space portal. He never dreamed that he would not only play in the bloody desert, but also accidentally get 100 such terrifying talismans. Xiangtian City. Brother Pig. Do I get hard work pay? After returning to Xiangtian City, Ba Feng also looked at Fei Tian Pig with expectation and asked. Hard work pay? We are all family, why give hard work pay? Hearing Ba Feng's words, Fei Tian Pig also said with a smirk. First, I was knocked unconscious by your sneak attack. Then I was tied up and let that guy run all night. In the end, that guy took 100 talismans as hard work fees, and now he has become my own man, and I have nothing left? Hearing Fei Tian Zhuzu's words, Ba Feng's mentality collapsed directly. In the restaurant. Huh. The prodigal product refreshed today is a bit interesting. After waking up, when Yi Feng checked the prodigal product refreshed today, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Chapter 7:15 Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Tears. Today's prodigal product, Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Tears * 10,000 Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Tears, as the name suggests, it is the tears shed by the Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus, which contains a special violent power, which can be used to refine pills, or can be swallowed directly without side effects. Dong. 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 Just as Yi Feng carefully checked the situation of the prodigal product, a knock on the door suddenly rang. Master Yi. We are back. Soon, Fei Tian Zhuzu and Ba Feng opened the door and walked in. You are back just in time. Does anyone of you know the tears of the Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus? Seeing a man and a pig walking in from outside, Yi Feng asked directly. Master Yi. The Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus is an extremely special dragon-like beast. Its many innate magical powers are all violent, which can make its own strength soar to an extremely terrifying level in an instant, and the most important thing is that except for a period of weakness afterwards, the body will not suffer any damage. And its tears contain a violent power, which can be swallowed directly to make its own strength soar, or it can be refined into pills. In this way, not only can the violent power in the tears be perfectly utilized, but the power burst out by taking this special pill is also much stronger than swallowing it directly. Moreover, whether it is swallowed directly or taken with the refined special pill, it will not cause any damage to the body of our Shintoists. At the same time, our Shintoists will not fall into a weak period afterwards. In other words, as long as there are enough Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus tears or refined special pills, our Shintoists can enter the violent mode infinitely. Hearing Yi Feng's question, Ba Feng immediately stepped forward and told everything he knew. Infinitely enter the violent mode? Isn't this a bug? After listening to what Ba Feng said, Yi Feng also revealed a touch of surprise. He really didn't expect that the tears of this Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Rex would be so fierce. That's right. It is extremely difficult to make the Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Rex cry. Even if it suffers inhuman torture, it will not shed a single tear. In short, unless it wants to cry, otherwise, even if it uses any means to it, it will not cry, and this leads to the fact that the tears of the Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus Rex are extremely rare and very expensive. At this time, Ba Feng suddenly thought of something and immediately added it. Unless it cries, otherwise, even if it suffers inhuman torture, it will not cry. In this way, this silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus rex is quite stubborn. After learning about this, Yifeng was secretly surprised and said, "This world is really so big, there are all kinds of dragons." Butler Ba. How do you know so much about the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus? At this time, Yifeng also looked at Ba Feng with curiosity and asked, "Master Yi." Because one of my good friends just happened to have a silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. And, in order to help him steal this silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus baby, I was almost killed by those two adult silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. At the end, Ba Feng's eyes also flashed with fear. Huh? Almost killed by two adult silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus? Is the amount of information so huge? Or is there something wrong with my understanding? Hearing Ba Feng's words, Yi Feng's thoughts instantly let go of himself. Butler Ba. Since your friend has a silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, he should have a lot of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears in his hands. After recovering from his shock, Yifeng continued to ask with curiosity. Young Master Yi. You may not believe it. He doesn't even have a single drop in his hand now. For 900 years, he beat it, scolded it, and even worshipped it like an ancestor, but the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus just wouldn't cry. Hearing Yifeng's question, Ba Feng also said with a wry smile. So that's how it is. It seems that the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus are really precious. After listening to what Ba Feng said, Yifeng also nodded secretly, and then began to think about how to squander the 10,000 drops of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears in his hand. Ha ha ha. Brother Ba Feng, I knew you wouldn't be able to pretend to be a beggar for long. I caught you this time. At this moment, the door was suddenly kicked open, and then a muscular middle-aged man walked in from outside with a big laugh. Am I dazzled? Brother Ba Feng was actually pouring wine for a young man? When Xiao Machuan walked in and saw Ba Feng pouring wine for a strange young man like a servant, he was stunned. Butler Ba. Do you know this man? Looking at Xiao Machuan who broke in, Yifeng also looked at Ba Feng and asked. Young Master Yi. He is the good friend Xiao Machuan I just mentioned. Hearing Yifeng's question, Ba Feng also hurriedly explained. Brother Xia. This is young Master Yi. Now I am a butler beside young Master Yi. Then, Ba Feng looked at Xiao Machuan and introduced Yifeng, and at the same time pointed at the other party with his current identity, so that the other party would not speak without restraint and say something that should not be said. Hearing Ba Feng's words, Xiao Machuan was also shocked. He couldn't imagine what kind of identity that young man had that could make the arrogant Ba Feng willing to be a personal butler. I am Xiao Machuan. Hello, Master Yi. Guessing that the other party's identity might be very terrifying, Xiao Machuan also greeted him respectfully. Senior Xia. I just heard from Butler Ba that you have a silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus in your hand. Can I see it? At this time, Yifeng also looked at Xiao Machuan expectantly and asked, because he already had a plan to trap the dragon in his mind. Young Master Yi. That silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus is roaring outside the city. If you want to see it, I'll bring it to you right away. Hearing Yifeng's words, Xiao Machuan was ready to leave the guest room and catch the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus that was doing bad things outside the city. No need. Just let my pet pig bring it back. I'll go downstairs to have breakfast first, you guys chat. After saying that, Yifeng smiled and left the guest room, while Feitian Zhuzhu jumped out of the window next to him, and then quickly ran towards the outside of the city, and said to himself excitedly, I like to shoot, and that silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus also likes to shoot, then I want to see who is better at shooting. Brother Ba Feng. What's going on? You are the #1 talisman, how can you be willing to be a personal butler for a young boy? When there were only the two of them left in the guest room, Xiao Machuan also looked at Ba Feng and asked hurriedly. Chapter 7:16 How about killing the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus and letting Yi Xiao taste it? Brother Xia. I don't want to be this butler either. But I really can't do it. Hearing Xiao Machuan's question, Ba Feng also said helplessly. If you don't want to be one, then don't be one. Who are you? You are Ba Feng, the #1 talisman in the God realm. Why should we bear this humiliation? After hearing this, Xiao Machuan looked at Ba Feng seriously and tried to persuade him. Brother Xia. No, I still want to be the mentor of that pig. And young Master Yi said that as long as I perform well enough during my time as a housekeeper, he will give me this opportunity. Ba Feng saw that Xiao Machuan seemed to have misunderstood something, and he also hurriedly explained. Being a housekeeper is not enough. You also want to be a mentor to a pig? So you have never accepted a disciple in your life, just waiting for this pig? After hearing what Ba Feng said, Xiao Machuan couldn't believe his ears for a while. Brother Xia. I know it must be hard for you to accept this news. You can't even understand it at all. But I want to ask you a question now. You have known me for so many years. Have I ever lied to you once? Seeing Xiao Machuan's unbelievable expression, Ba Feng asked this question seriously. No. You have never lied to me since the first day we met. Although he didn't understand why Ba Feng asked this question, Xiao Machuan still answered seriously. Then what if I say? Just last night, Brother Zhu took me to the bloody desert, and then I killed people everywhere in it. In the end, I killed so many beasts that they dared not show their heads. Do you believe it? Hearing Xiao Machuan's answer, Ba Feng asked again with a serious face. 1 minute. 2 minutes. Brother Ba Feng. I wonder if Brother Zhu needs a cook. If possible, I want to be its personal chef. After 2 minutes, Xiao Machuan also looked at Ba Feng seriously and asked. Laughed. Hearing Xiao Machuan's words, Ba Feng laughed directly, because Xiao Machuan's reaction was the same as he expected, but what he didn't expect was that the other party actually wanted to be Brother Zhu's personal chef. Brother Xia. Are you a spendthrift? Let me tell you, Master Yi is an extremely desperate spendthrift. As long as you are a spendthrift, Master Yi will be happy, and maybe this will work. Then, Ba Feng pointed out a clear way for Xiao Machuan. A spendthrift is a spendthrift. Why do you need to use the word extremely desperate? After hearing what Ba Feng said, Xiao Machuan asked with a puzzled look on his face. Brother Xia. Take a look at this talisman first. Seeing Xiao Machuan's puzzled look, Ba Feng knew that it was difficult to explain clearly, so he could only explain it with practical actions. Fuck. This talisman is so terrifying. Even you can't make such a terrifying talisman. Where did you get it from? When Xiao Machuan released his spiritual sense to detect the 999 terrifying auras in the talisman that made him feel trembling, he looked at Ba Feng in shock and asked. Swish. Ba Feng did not answer Xiao Machuan's words, but threw the talisman into the sky outside the window, and then 999 white arrows emitting terrifying auras shot out in all directions like fireworks. Fuck. Ba Feng, are you crazy? You should know better than me how terrifying this talisman is. It can even intimidate a hegemonic force, but you just used it? Seeing this scene, Xiao Machuan was stunned at first, and then he angrily cursed at Ba Feng. Brother Xia. Don't ask me why I used it. Just tell me whether this rain of arrows and fireworks is beautiful or not. Hearing Xiao Machuan's curse, Ba Feng asked indifferently. What the hell is beautiful or not? Such a terrifying talisman is used to save lives, not for viewing. Hearing Ba Feng's words, Xiao Machuan's mouth twitched with anger. Didn't you just ask me why I used such a crazy word? Then I'll tell you now, if it was young Master Yi, he would throw out hundreds and thousands of them. If you ask why, he might say that it's for no other reason than to have a good time. Seeing that Xiao Machuan's mouth twitched with anger, Ba Feng also explained with a smile on his face. Ha ha ha. Brother Ba Feng, the assumption you made is simply impossible. Because such a terrifying talisman can't appear in large quantities. Even if he wants to throw it, he has to be able to take it out. If he can't take it out, it's just an idea, which is useless. Hearing Ba Feng's words, Xiao Machuan laughed with disdain on his face. I don't know how many talismans Yi Xiao has left. But he has already given Brother Zhu 1 million. And last night, Brother Zhu relied on this terrifying talisman to kill people in the bloody desert. According to preliminary estimates, Brother Zhu probably used about 10,000 talismans last night. Looking at Xiao Machuan, who was laughing, Ba Feng said a bombshell. Xiao Machuan stopped laughing when he heard this, and his face showed an unbelievable look. Brother Ba Feng. The most expensive ingredient on me is probably the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. How about I kill it and make some appetizers for Master Yi? After a long silence, Xiao Machuan looked at Ba Feng seriously and expressed his thoughts. Although the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus has not shed a tear for you in the past 900 years. But you have been together for 900 years after all. In these 900 years, although you have not cried together, you must have laughed together. You have some feelings for each other, right? But now, in order to curry favor with Master Yi, you have to kill it? Hearing Xiao Machuan's words, Ba Feng also revealed a trace of surprise, and then asked, Brother Xia, after 900 years, you and the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus must have developed some feelings. Now you say to kill it, isn't it a bit bad? Feelings? The feelings between a grandson and a grandfather? I worship it like an ancestor, but it doesn't even shed a tear of emotion for me. Such a ruthless and ungrateful guy. If you don't kill it quickly for Yi Xiao to taste it, do you still keep it for spawning? Hearing Ba Feng's words, Xiao Machuan spoke angrily. It can be said that he had had enough of serving his ancestors. If he didn't take this opportunity to kill the other party, he would definitely be reluctant to do so later. After all, this silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus is equivalent to a chicken that lays golden eggs. Chapter 717 Your weapons and my weapons seem to be different. Hey! It seems that during these 900 years, that silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus has deeply hurt Brother Xiao's heart. Hearing Xiao Machuan's words, Ba Feng shook his head helplessly, then looked at the other party and said directly, Brother Xia, among the many dishes you make later, I hope there is one that is spicy. On the other side. Huh? Where is the thump-thump? Why didn't I hear the thump-thump sound? When Feitian Zhuzhu came to the outside of the city and found that there was no thump-thump sound here, a look of doubt appeared on his face. Swish! At this moment, Feitian Zhuzhu suddenly noticed something, and then looked directly behind him. Ha ha ha! Flying white cloud pig. It's actually a delicious flying white cloud pig. Isn't this fucking paid for? At this time, a man in black on the opposite side also exclaimed with excitement, and at the same time thought to himself, I wonder how many kinds of delicious dishes Xiao Machuan can make with this flying white cloud pig. The breath of a dragon-like beast. This guy has transformed. Wait a minute. Could this guy be the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex? Thinking of this, Feitian Zhuzhu looked at the other party and asked directly, Are you the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus raised by Xiao Machuan? Huh. Do you know Chef Xia? Hearing Feitian Zhuzhu's words, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus also asked back with a look of surprise. That's right. He was talking to my young master, so he asked me to come and take you back. But before I go back, I want to compete with you. Knowing that the other party was the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, Feitian Zhuzhu also said excitedly. You want to compete with me? Compete with what? Hearing the other party's words, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus also showed a hint of interest, and then asked directly. 222. I want to compete with you in a 222. Seeing that the other party did not refuse, Faitian Juju was also excited and hurriedly explained. No competition? No battle of wits? But you want to compete with me in a 222? Hearing what Faitian Pig said, Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus was also surprised. It never thought that the pig on the other side would propose such a weird competition. However, it was a strange thing, but it really wanted to say to the other party, since you want to compete, then you should bring two beasts of the opposite sex here, otherwise how can you compete? Brother Pig. Then how do you want to compete? With doubt, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex also looked at the flying pig and asked. How to compete? Then it must be shooting each other. Isn't this thing a competition of who is more powerful? Hearing the strange question of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex, the flying pig also explained. What? Shooting each other? Are you crazy? That will kill the beast. Hearing the words of the flying pig, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out. It never thought that the ordinary pig on the opposite side would be so crazy. You crazy pig, play here by yourself. I won't go crazy with you. After recovering from it, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex gave up the idea of competing with the other party, and then prepared to turn around and leave. Boom. At this moment, a terrifying aura that made the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus feel suffocated instantly enveloped it, making it unable to move at all. Fuck. Is this pig so powerful? Then I'm done for? At this time, the eyes of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus were full of despair. Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. I advise you to fight with me with all your strength. Otherwise, the consequences are definitely not something you can bear. After saying that, the flying piggy put away the terrifying pressure on the opponent, and thought disdainfully in his heart, you are just a garbage dragon of the 8th level of the sacred realm. I can't deal with you. A moment later. Begin. With a loud shout from the flying piggy, it immediately took out the gun armor from the divine ring, and then put it on at the fastest speed. The silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus on the opposite side began to loosen his pants slowly. Fuck. What's going on? I was just about to take it off, but you put it on? When the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus inadvertently glanced at the flying piggy on the opposite side, and then saw the cool and invincible gun armor on the other side, he was directly shocked. Thump 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 thump. At this moment, with a burst of tut-tut-tut sounds, the 8 Gatling guns on the flying pigs opened fire, and countless white arrows were like a rain of arrows covering the sky and the sun, bombarding the surrounding trees and rocks. Fuck. It said tut-tut-tut, could it be this tut-tut-tut? If that's the case, then I have no chance of winning with just a spear. Seeing the terrifying destructive power released by the opponent's strange weapon, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex was stunned. It never thought that the tut-tut-tut it said and the tut-tut-tut the opponent said were not the same thing at all. Huh. Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, did you hide your weapon in your pants? After firing a few shots, Flying Piglet also looked at silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. When it saw the other party grabbing his pants with both hands, it asked with surprise. Brother Pig. Your weapons and my weapons seem to be different. So, is there any misunderstanding between us? At this point, silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus gritted his teeth and explained in detail what he called 222. A moment later. What? 222 is the most beautiful sound in the world. How can you do this to it? I'm going to fight you today. At this point, Flying Piglet finally couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. Not only did he open all 8 Gatling guns, but he also put the 2 rocket launchers on his back on his shoulders. Today, he was determined to let silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus know one thing, that is, not all sounds can be called 222. In the restaurant. Has Flying Pig not brought back the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus yet? When Yifeng finished breakfast and returned to the guest room, he found that Flying Pig had not returned yet, and he also muttered to himself with a puzzled look on his face. Young Master Yi. The soup is bland. Are you not used to the food in this restaurant? I happen to be a kitchen cultivator. How about I make some good side dishes for you to try at noon? At this time, Xiao Machuan also walked in front of Yifeng and took the initiative to propose an idea. Oh. Senior Xia is also a kitchen cultivator? Then I really want to try Senior Xia's cooking skills. As long as your cooking skills are good, you will definitely get the hard work fee. Hearing Xiao Machuan's words, Yifeng's eyes lit up, because the food in this restaurant is indeed very ordinary. Chapter 718 I am a victim, and then let me apologize to it? Pung. At this moment, the door was suddenly slammed open by someone, and then the bloody silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus staggered in from outside. Chef Xia. Help me. That pig is crazy, it's beating me up, I'm almost killed by it. At this time, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus who walked into the guest room also looked at Xiao Machuan and shouted. What? Brother Pig is beating you up? Your injuries are all caused by it beating you up? Hearing what the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus said, Xiao Machuan's eyes almost popped out of his head in shock. He knew that his silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus was very wild in that aspect, but he never expected that the ordinary pig was even wilder than the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. Fuck. Chef Xia, don't talk nonsense. If that crazy pig hears this, it might even shoot you. Finding that Xiao Machuan seemed to have misunderstood something, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus also reminded him anxiously. What did I say? Brother Pig is actually going to attack me? Xiao Machuan was stunned when he heard the reminder from the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. At this time, not only Xiao Machuan was stunned, but even Yifeng and Ba Feng, who were watching the excitement, also showed a bit of confusion, because they simply couldn't understand what this man and beast were talking about. Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. Don't run if you dare. At this moment, the angry flying pig also flew in from the window, but at this time it had returned to the size of a pet pig, and the gun armor on its body was also put into the magic ring when entering the city. Flying Pig. What's going on with you two? I asked you to bring it back, but I didn't ask you to shoot it back. After seeing Flying Pig coming back, Yifeng asked with a puzzled look on his face. Master Yi. I feel bad. This silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus actually bullied the thing I care about the most. Hearing Yifeng's question, Flying Pig also cried with a wronged look on his face. Fuck. No way. Just a few words, you're still wronged? The silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus on the side was stunned when he saw this scene. He was even more upset and thought, I am the one who was wronged, I am the one who was injured, I am the victim, and I didn't cry, but you, the abuser, are crying here? Pung. At this moment, Xiao Machuan on the side kicked the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus to the ground with one foot, and then shouted angrily, Look, you bullied Brother Pig into a state of chaos, why don't you apologize to Brother Pig? I was madly shot by 8 machine guns. I was madly bombarded by 2 rocket launchers. In the hail of bullets, I tried my best to escape back, and then, you asked me to apologize to it? Hearing Xiao Machuan's words, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus lying on the ground couldn't believe his ears for a while, and in order to prevent the situation from continuing to develop in a direction that was not favorable to him, he looked at everyone and explained quickly. A moment later. So that's how it is. Then you should apologize to Brother Pig quickly. And promise that you will never use the word 222 again. After listening to the explanation of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, everyone finally understood, and then Xiao Machuan looked at silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus and spoke again. I've explained it all. You also know who is the victim. Then, you still want me to apologize? Hearing what Xiao Machuan said, Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus was almost crying with grievance, but he was full of determination in his heart. I am wronged, but I won't cry. Who doesn't feel wronged in a dragon's life? Okay. Senior Xia, it is innocent in this matter, how can it apologize? At this time, Yi Feng also laughed and made a round, then looked at the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus and said, Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, it is the flying pig that is ignorant and makes you suffer. After hearing what Yi Feng said, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus was moved to tears. Butler Ba. Senior Xia. I have something to talk to Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus alone. Then, Yi Feng looked at the two and said this. Hearing what Yi Feng said, Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan immediately understood, and then left the guest room together. Hey! Brother Ba Feng, I am soft-hearted again. I was going to stew it at noon, but when I saw it injured just now, I felt a little bit sorry. Just like you said, after all, we have lived together for 900 years, and we still have some feelings. After walking out of the guest room, Xiao Machuan looked at Ba Feng with a wry smile and said. Brother Xia. I can feel it. You just beat and scolded it, but you were actually protecting it in disguise, right? Otherwise, even if it's not its fault, if Master Yi wants to kill it because his pet pig is sad, then no one can save it. After hearing Xiao Machuan's words, Ba Feng also laughed and said. Brother Ba Feng. You know me better than anyone else. Hearing Ba Feng's words, Xiao Machuan also laughed and said. The other side. Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus. I want a drop of your tears. After Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan left, Yi Feng looked at Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus and told him his purpose. Young Master Yi. You have no tears, but you have a life. If your purpose is to get my tears, then you can really give up. Because in these 900 years, it can be said that Chef Xia has used every possible means on me, but in the end, he still didn't get a single tear. Hearing what Yi Feng said, Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus also persuaded him seriously. Pa. At this moment, Yi Feng slapped a glass bottle the size of a mineral water bottle on the table, and then pretended to be shocked and said, Silver Fang Tyrannosaurus, I said one drop would be enough, but in the end, you cried a whole bottle for me. When did I cry a bottle? How can you lie with your eyes open? Hearing Yi Feng's words, especially seeing the bottle full of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears on the table, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus was stunned. It never thought that Yi Feng would have so many tears of his own kind in his hands, and what it didn't expect was that the other party was going to use this bottle of tears to trick it. Okay. I have to take your tears and go out to play a little game. If you run out of them, I'll come back to you for more. Ignoring the stunned silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus, Yi Feng said this again and walked directly towards the door. Wait a minute. Fuck, wait a minute. Don't be so mean, those aren't my tears, why do you have to say they are my tears? If Chef Xia misunderstands, I really can't explain it. Seeing Yi Feng about to step out of the door, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex also shouted anxiously. Chapter 719 Small Game and King Competition. Life is long, don't regret it if you don't cheat. If I don't cheat you today, I'll be upset. Anyway, one of us has to be upset, so why can't it be you? Hearing the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex's shout, Yi Feng also smiled playfully, then stepped out of the door and completely disappeared from the other's sight. No. I can't just watch him cheat me. I have to stop him. Seeing that Yi Feng ignored him, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex became anxious and walked towards the door. It had to chase him out to stop Yi Feng. Caw. Crack. Crack. Just as the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus was about to step out of the door, a series of strange noises suddenly sounded from behind it. Little Tyrannosaurus. Do you think there is a possibility? That's why Master Yi didn't take me away, so that I could stay and watch you? Then, the playful voice of Flying Pig sounded from behind it. Stare. When the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus turned around and saw that Flying Pig had transformed into a gun war pig again, and 8 Gatling guns and 2 rocket launchers on his shoulders were aimed at him, he was frightened and his pupils shrank, and his whole body trembled. He dared to guarantee that as long as he really dared to walk out of this door, the Flying Pig would definitely fire at him without hesitation. Another guest room. Master Yi. Have you finished talking? When Xiao Machuan saw Yi Feng suddenly walked in, he immediately stood up and asked, curiously. Have you finished talking? I came to you now, because I want to play a little game with you. Hearing Xiao Machuan's question, Yi Feng also explained with a smile on his face, huh? Little game? When the two heard what Yi Feng said, they both showed a hint of doubt on their faces. After all, one was studying the art of talismans all day long, and the other was studying cooking all day long. The word game was too far away from them. Young Master Yi. What game? At this time, Ba Feng looked at Yi Feng with a curious look and asked. Ant King Contest. Hearing what Ba Feng said, Yi Feng also laughed and said the name of this game. Ant King Contest? What kind of game is this? Hearing this domineering name, the two of them showed puzzled expressions, because they couldn't guess how Yi Feng wanted to play. You too. Now the 3 of us will go out and catch ants. We must catch those ordinary wild ants, not the ant beasts that can practice. Don't catch too many, just catch 4,000 each. Seeing the two people's puzzled look, Yi Feng also explained. Stunned. Originally, the two of them were quite confused about Yi Feng's little game, but now they have to go out and catch those ordinary wild ants, and they come up with 4,000, which makes them even more confused. However, although they don't understand, it doesn't prevent them from doing it according to Yi Feng's requirements. Half an incense stick later. Come on. I have drawn the circle. Let's each take out 160 wild ants first, but we must release our divine power to trap them in front of us, and we can't let them start fighting each other. Seeing that the two finally returned to the guest room, Yi Feng also pointed to a large circle with a diameter of 2 meters on the ground and said. Hearing Yi Feng's words, Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan looked at each other, and a bitter smile appeared on their faces. They thought to themselves, this little game is too childish. Peng. At this moment, Yi Feng finally took out the glass bottle containing the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. That's the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. A full bottle of tears? When the two saw the silver-white tears in the glass bottle, they all exclaimed in shock, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. They never thought that Yi Feng would have so many silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears in his hand. Wait a minute. Young master, Yi took out the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears at this time. Could it be that he was going to use those rare silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears on these wild ants? Thinking of this, the two looked at Yi Feng with wide eyes. They hoped that their guess was not true, otherwise, they would really be hit. Butler Ba. Senior Xia. I have already divided your 160 drops of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears. Next, let's quickly give each of our 160 wild ants a drop. I really want to see how amazing the power of their tiny bodies can burst out after absorbing the power of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears. However, Yi Feng's next words completely shattered the last hope of the two. Looking at the 2 small bottles handed over by Yi Feng, they also stretched out their trembling hands. Young Master Yi. These are the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex. Even if you don't use them to refine pills, every drop is equivalent to a powerful trump card. Isn't it a bit too wasteful to use them on these wild ants? Xiao Machuan, holding on to his last hope, looked directly at Yi Feng and persuaded him. Waste? What's there to waste? If you use them all up, then let the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex you raised cry more. Hearing Xiao Machuan's persuasion, Yi Feng responded indifferently. All the tears in this bottle of yours came from the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex I raised. I served it for 900 years, and it never shed a single tear for me. As a result, when it came to you, it just cried loudly? Hearing Yi Feng's words, Xiao Machuan was completely dumbfounded. He thought that the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus in this bottle belonged to Yi Feng himself, but he never expected that these tears were actually from the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus he raised. Fuck. Knowing this truth, I feel even worse. Under normal circumstances, the tears of these silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus should be mine. After recovering from his shock, Xiao Machuan's mentality collapsed directly, and he cursed in his heart, fuck the 900 years of feelings, this ungrateful dragon, if I don't kill it now, when will I kill it? After a moment, when Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan dripped the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus on each wild ant, their hearts were bleeding. You know, they haven't used this good thing yet, and they also want to feel how powerful they can burst out when they enter the violent mode. Fuck. These wild ants are starting to transform. Their bodies have all expanded, and each wild ant looks extremely tough, like a battle-hardened war ant. I really didn't expect that the tears of the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus would be so fierce. At this time, when Yi Feng found that the wild ants began to change, he also exclaimed with excitement. Chapter 720 Yi Xiao, please, don't pit the dragon. Hearing Yi Feng's exclamation, Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan also looked at their respective ant colonies. Fuck. Too scary. These ordinary wild ants can actually undergo such a big change after entering the violent mode. When the two noticed that their ant colonies had also undergone the same changes, they both showed a hint of envy in their eyes, because they also wanted to feel the power of violent power. Fuck. Bite it. Tear their bodies apart. As the three of them withdrew their own divine power, the 480 wild ants that had entered the violent state all entered a melee state. You too. Keep an eye on them first. I'll go to the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus and get some more tears back. Seeing that more than half of the ants were dead or injured, Yi Feng knew that this ant war was about to end, and then he stood up and walked towards the door. Isn't the Ant King about to appear? Why do we need to take some more? Hearing Yi Feng's words, Ba Feng also asked with a puzzled look on his face, Young Master Yi, isn't the Ant King about to appear? Why do you still need to take tears? Butler Ba. What kind of Ant King is this? We have to play this little game 20 times. Only by letting the 20 winning wild ants fight again, can we choose the real Ant King. After explaining, Yi Feng walked out of the guest room. Hearing Yi Feng's words, Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan were shocked. They never thought that Yi Feng would prepare to play 20 times. If each time was 480 drops, then 20 times would be 9,600 drops. Brother Xia. The silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus you raised has been guarding you for 900 years. And now, it is ready to cry all the tears of 900 years to Master Yi at once. After recovering from his shock, Ba Feng looked at Xiao Machuan and expressed his thoughts. Huh. Hearing what Ba Feng said, Xiao Machuan also let out a long breath, and then walked to the corner and said, Brother Ba Feng, you keep an eye on it, I'll go sharpen my knife first. On the other side. Silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus. Cry. Returning to his guest room, Yi Feng looked at the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus with a smirk and said. Young Master Yi. Please, stop pitting me. If you keep pitting me, I'll be in real danger. Hearing Yi Feng's words, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus immediately begged. It couldn't imagine how desperate, angry, and sad Xiao Machuan, who had failed for 900 years, would be when he learned that he had shed tears for others that he hadn't shed for 900 years. Bang! Bang! Ignoring the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus's plea, Yi Feng directly took out 2 glass bottles from the system space and placed them on the table. What for? It's already too much to cry for one bottle, and now it's increased to 2 bottles? Seeing the 2 glass bottles filled with silver tears that Yi Feng took out, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex went crazy, and thought in his heart, young Master Yi is not trying to trick me, he wants me to die. Another guest room. Young Master Yi. What's going on? In just a short while, the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex cried out 2 bottles? It doesn't even need to brew tears for you? Seeing that Yi Feng actually took out 2 large bottles this time, Xiao Machuan's eyes almost popped out of his head in shock. Hey! I told you to make it cry slower and less, just for the sake of showing your affection. But it just wouldn't listen, it just kept crying, and finally it just made me drink 2 bottles. Hearing what Xiao Machuan said, Yi Feng explained helplessly. Brother Xia. Watch it for a while, I'll help you sharpen the knife. I have to stew it today, no matter what. Seeing that Xiao Machuan was shaking with anger, Ba Feng also comforted him with his spiritual sense. A moment later. You too. Watch it, I'll go get some tears. When the third ant melee began, Yi Feng left the guest room again. Then, in an hour, Yi Feng ran back and forth between the 2 guest rooms for more than 10 times, and finally spent all the 10,000 drops of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus tears. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing today's wasteful product, reward 500,000 wasteful points, reward Tianming tear-inducing pills *10. At the same time, the system's reward prompt sound also rang from Yifeng's mind. Boom! Then, a breath of breakthrough burst out from Yifeng's body. What did Yi Xiao do? He didn't practice, how could he suddenly break through? After realizing that Yifeng's cultivation level had directly broken through from the peak of the 9th level of the True God Realm to the peak of the 1st level of the Heavenly God Realm, Ba Feng and Xiao Machuan looked at each other and revealed a hint of doubt. At this time, Yi Feng didn't care about the breakthrough, but checked the situation of the Tianming tear-inducing pill. Tianming tear-inducing pill. It is made by combining Tianming grass with 101 kinds of magical herbs with tear-inducing effects. It has an extremely terrifying tear-inducing effect. The effect of each pill can last for 5 minutes. If 2 pills are taken together, the time does not add up. It is produced by the system. This pill is interesting. And it is also refined by the system. Even the silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus Rex may not be able to withstand the terrifying effect of this pill. After checking the situation of Tianming tear-inducing pill, Yi Feng also showed a smile. Young Master Yi. The strongest Ant King has appeared. What should we do next? At this moment, Ba Feng's question suddenly sounded from the side. Help it. Hearing Ba Feng's question, Yi Feng also gave an answer. Hearing this, Ba Feng's eyes lit up, and then he quickly said, Young Master Yi, do you mean to use some special natural treasures to help this Ant King embark on the path of cultivation? Butler Ba. What are you talking about? I mean, give it a hand and let it reunite with its dead family as soon as possible. Hearing Ba Feng's strange words, Yi Feng also explained aloud. The Ant King that took so much effort to select. Sending the other party to paradise? Then why did it fight for so long, just to die an hour later? After hearing Yi Feng's explanation, Ba Feng was completely dumbfounded. He never thought that the Ant King had been struggling for so long, but it was all in vain. Chef Xia. My dear Chef Xia. You must believe me, the tears that young Master Yi took over were not from my tears at all, they were all his own. He is just trying to trick me. At this moment, the anxious voice of silver-fanged Tyrannosaurus also rang out from Xiao Machuan's mind.